Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Brand by Not Just Marketing, official marketing cell of NMIMS, where we bring together stories of marketeers who go beyond the job descriptions and truly shape the stories behind the brand. Today, we have with us someone truly special to our NGM community, Mr. Prashant Singh Tomar, currently the business manager at Tanishq under the Tata Administrative Services program. He's worked across Tata Motors, Air India, Chroma, Titan, and his journey combines marketing analytics and retail management across domains. On the creative end, he has the passion for performing arts and theatre and has been featured in the Netflix productions and has been awarded by the Delhi government. So, let's get right into it. So take us back to the time you graduated from the B school and your journey of what happened next. How were the early parts of your career and basically everything up until today?
Sure. So, of course, I was a part of NGM as well, like you mentioned. And that was one of the best things that happened to me in college because I particularly feel, and this advice I also give to other people, that no matter what happens, you have to be present at each and every place, at each and every moment of your college life because this might be the last education that you might be pursuing for a lot of people.
Right.
And NGM gave me that platform because I was present all throughout and I used to enjoy my journey. So that was a very big part of my MBA journey as well. Towards the end, of course, when companies started coming, so everybody is excited in that phase where they want to target the first companies, get placed. I fortunately was lucky enough that amongst the first few companies when TAS came to the campus, although it was coming for the first time, we did not have a lot of background to it, that what kind of people are they looking for, because they used to go to the colleges, but this was the first time they were trying our campus.
Right.
So when I went ahead with it, I was fortunate enough to clear the process, the 5-6 rounds that they keep, and just then the journey had it. I was able to make it through. When my journey of college was ending, and TAS took around 2 months to start, that was the time I really wanted to travel, so I had a lot of fun. Won't deny. So my journey started with TAS because I think in the month of June, June 20th, if I'm not wrong, that was the exact date in 2023 when the journey actually started.
Right.
And they start with a 1 month program of induction where they take us around the country. It starts with Tata Management Training Center 8-day induction at Pune, post which we travel multiple locations, including Bangalore, Jamshedpur, Ranchi, where they take us to the Tata Industries, which are the legacy companies. We have a lot of fun there. We also learn about the companies, have meetings with the senior management, which tell us about how our careers can look. Of course, TAS provides a very diverse portfolio,
Right.
where you can experience so many companies within the first year itself.
Right.
So I was lucky enough, like you mentioned, Alicia, I was lucky enough to experience Tata Motors, Titan, Chroma, and Air India. I started my journey with Air India with two projects majorly, which was one was operation strategy and the other was an HR strategy.
Right.
Very wide domain, which I had not experienced at all. And then I went ahead. It was in Gurgaon. I went ahead with the second stint, which was of Chroma in Mumbai. And the third stint happened at Titan, which was one of my favorite stints. Right now, I ended up in Titan, so I
Right.
think that proves. So Titan, I was working in the e-commerce team, where I was given 5-6 projects, which was pretty much to sum up in 3 months. I tried my best to do however much I could, and that is the beauty of TAS, that they don't expect the best results in terms of volume, but in terms of quality.
Right.
So I was able to learn a lot there as well. The last stint ended in Pune, Pimpri plant where we have the Tata Motors.
Right.
In Tata Motors, I was giving EV strategy, electric vehicle strategy for the next 15 years. That was most fun project I had in terms of learning about how the Indian EV ecosystem is shaping. Of course, the final placements are happening. I had my eyes on TAS, I had my eyes on Titan, and wanted to clear the ABM role, which I hopefully did, and that too I cleared it in Delhi, which is my hometown. So yeah, it was fun.
That's great. So you've experienced Tata Motors, Air India, Chroma, Titan, a variety of verticals, right? Could you walk us through a day in your life in each of these verticals and how different it was? What did you like the most about those parts?
Sure. Firstly, when I got Air India,
Right.
it was after I spent that beautiful 1 month with my TAS batchmates, and everybody. It was one fine day. Just imagine a room full of 49 people,
Right.
and each and every one of them is getting their stints. Where are they going to go now after spending 1 month together? They're going to be dispersed amongst the country. And when my message came, it was Air India. I was thrilled to get that message. But then I read operations strategy and HR strategy, and my head went down because I was not expecting. I wanted as if everything that's associated with marketing, of course, NGM se bhi tha. So everything associated with marketing, I'm gonna get in my all four stints. But I forgot the one very valuable part, that TAS is going to make you experience things that you even don't want to, because that's a diverse portfolio they want to create for you. So I was happily accepted it. There was nothing that I could do about it. But when I went ahead with the stint, I realized how important it was. In fact, my Air India stint, the operation and HR strategy, was one of the most important ones for me because that is the first corporate experience I got.
Right.
Couldn't have gotten a better team, couldn't have gotten a better project, couldn't have gotten the better mentorship. They really put their heart and souls into dedicating time for me, and they guided me through the process how corporate actually works. I was able to deliver both of those projects successfully, which were pending from a long time in the organization. So that was very fun. So that stint ended. The second one was now the transition is where people actually find the thrill and fun, which everybody used to ask us. For example, if 15th my stint is ending here in Air India, I have to wind everything up, give my IT assets, deliver the project, give a presentation, and the very evening my flight is going to be booked for the next stint. And all of a sudden, our companies changed and industries changed, people have changed, reporting managers, everything in just one day. When I came to Mumbai, it was the office is in Andheri of Chroma, a pretty smaller office with respect to Air India. So people were very reachable when you're sitting in close vicinities. You can directly reach out to people, and the entire team was sitting on one floor. The entire office, in fact, that was a fun experience. There, I was given a marketing project. I was happy about the project, happy about the organization. Although it was the first time in my life. Now, a lot of MBA people will relate. I was not good at Excel. I understand that I could do data entries, but more than that, there are so many things. Excel is a whole world in itself, and the project was completely Excel driven. Where the marketing had to analyze analytics and this, that, so many things. Of course, two new brands were coming, so we need to analyze which are the platforms that we can market them on in Chroma. In fact, it was a wonderful project with respect to me understanding how a new brand comes into the market. So two very good projects there again.
So you launched a new brand into the market.
Yes, in fact, those two brands are going to be private labels. What a private label is, I hope everybody understand. But a private label is when an organization takes out its own products under its own brand names. Chroma is right now a dealer which is selling other people's products.
Right.
But we also wanted some of the products that we realize that are doing very well in the market. We also want to try our hand at it, and we also want to take out our own brands, private labels into that. That was the project I was driving there. Second, then I went ahead, and the third stint, the most beautiful one, I went to Bangalore. Beautiful city, beautiful weather, lovely traffic. Went to Electronic City, where the Titan office actually is. When I saw that for the office for the first time, Alisha, kid you not, I knew that I heard a lot about so many campuses in India. For example, Microsoft's Hyderabad office, then Facebook's office in US. Very close comparison. And then comes Titan's office in Bangalore. The building's name is Integrity, which reflect Tata values, to be honest. And we were told about, because the very first day our induction there that happened. We were told about why this name building was named Integrity. It was named by Mr. Bhaskar Bhatt, which was the then MD and CEO when the building was being made. So he came up with the name, and that is a beautiful name to describe the Titan values also. Again, when I entered there, first day, did not know who to report to. Just a person called me, that's it right there, we are going to come. One day before I was delivering another project, he came, he introduced me to the team, 5 new projects on my platter, and love delivering them. It was the e-commerce project, and the e-commerce industry is a whole new world in itself now. So understood the entire landscape and how things work in e-commerce. Loved the experience. When the stint ended, again, so Triton was also special because the team there was so pampering. When my last day was there, they took an entire outing just for me. The company should not find out. If they find out that it was my farewell that they spent on lakhs of rupees. But we went ahead, had fun in amusement park. Really reflects my personality. I think they found out somehow. So went ahead in the amusement park, had a lot of fun. Those people then transferred me. My last stint, it was in Tata Motors. I wanted to try Tata Motors, but I wanted to try it in the marketing space.
Right.
But I think the HR found out that I have not had any strategy project as of now. Lovely HR. Because she sent me there, and the project was of marketing, it was of EV strategy. There, each and every single day from the other organizers was very different, because now I was working in a plant. That plant stint really taught me a lot. It taught me the value of how the differentiation of hard labor and people are sitting in corporate, it pulls apart. And you get to experience both lives, talking to those people, getting the taste of how life looks at the other end, and wonderful. And Tata, of course, keeps his people very healthy. And I'll tell you a secret with people who did a stint with me don't know. So in the Pimpri plant, there was a special canteen which was for people who used to come from outside, and they were guests to Tata Motors. I somehow found out a way entering into that canteen. I used to eat the beautiful food after a particular point in time. So yeah, that was a trick I got.
You absolutely gave like a sneak peek of what it looks like if you are in TAS.
Yes.
And it did sound very exciting. So, which business rotation really challenged you a lot? Was it tech, aviation, retail, or something else?
Okay, the rotation.
And which was the most memorable rotation for you? Is it?
Okay, they could both be the same, but I think when I was going from Bangalore to Pimpri plant, like I told you sometime before only, that the transition that happened from a normal corporate, and then a plant. So that is a funny transition that happens. Again, the first transition which I had from normal roaming around the country and going to Air India for the first time, that was a challenging one because I was always scared to put my first step into the corporate. I won't deny that college gives you a lot of exposure in terms of understanding how corporate life will
Right.
look like. But when you actually go there and now you have to deliver real time work, not a project, not a corporate project, not an assignment, but things which are going to impact an organization in terms of P&L, in terms of actually people's life being impacted or changed, then you have to really come into action and become more responsible. So the first stint in terms of that was very different.
Okay, so how do you go in a completely new and unknown industry and start creating value so quickly? Like you mentioned, your stints are very short. You have to do a lot of work in a very short time. So how exactly do you do that? What is your mental framework when you're doing that?
I won't say that I knew that in the beginning itself, but we had to carve the path out. But now I know a basic path, so I can guide people on that for
Right.
sure. So when you're entering into a new industry, you can't be the expert of it. There are people working in that industry from years and years now. So what you do is, my suggestion is, use the first 2-3 weeks, not actually trying to impact that you're going to change the industry, revolutionize something, bring new ideas, change people, change organization structure. That cannot happen.
Right.
Use those 2-3 weeks just to learn about the industry. At least come at par with the people, the knowledge that they have. In the era of chat GPT, it's not very tough.
Right.
You can just type a prompt and teach me what this industry looks like an expert, and it will give you thousands of things.
And our students know that.
So yeah, my suggestion is that for 2-3 weeks, ask your manager, request them not to burden you, or at least for the, if they're very very hard on you, then try to get that 1 week. And if it's too impossible, then get the weekends for yourself. Not a huge thing. Just get that time to understand what the industry looks like before you try to make an impact in terms of the projects or the assignments or daily tasks that you get, because it will give you a baseline of
Right.
what people think like in that industry. For example, I'm going, let's say, in telecom,
Hmm.
and I don't know what is the total size of telecom industry in India. What is the organized sector? How many players are there? What do those players look like? What is their market share? How many new entrants are there? What cities are people operating in? These are so many questions if you don't know the answer to. And I give you a project that find out what is the internet usage of people in Bangalore, what kind of opportunities they're looking for, on what kind of impact we can make in their lives. I can't get an answer to that.
Right.
So give your time first, prepare for the industry, get used to it, then start tackling those problems. It will be much easier for you.
This is especially important for everyone because we will all be joining new organizations and well, not knowing is the part of the process.
It is.
Okay. So especially when you are moving across organizations, you have multiple stakeholders, and all of those multiple stakeholders will have a lot of expectations. So as someone who is new in the organization, how exactly do you actually manage these expectations of multiple people?
That's not untrue. Every stakeholder that you have is going to come from a different perspective.
Right.
For example, if I tell you about a person who's coming from a marketing background and I'm presented to people, and the audience contains marketing people, operations people, HR people, people from strategy, people from finance, commercial. Now, everybody is going to look at the same problem in a different way.
Right.
Maybe if the problem is of, let's say, new buyer experience, the
Hmm.
people who are buying from us for the first time in the consumer industry, the people from finance might think that yes, if we make the process of billing very smooth, then the experience is going to become better.
Right.
People from marketing might think that the ads that we are presenting in front of them in social media, that is going to be the best part, and we need to improve the customer experience there. People in the store, they might think that the person who's dealing with them is the actual making an impact. So you need to tailor your approach and tailor your presentation ideas in such a way that it satisfies or encompasses everybody. You One thing that I learned, not from here but from theater, is how to look at things from other people's perspective, because we used to play characters on stage, so we got used to it. And that is what I tried to do. Whenever you're making a presentation, you try to understand who are the people you're presenting to, rather than what is the best solution you can present to. The best solution sometimes is not going to be the one accepted across the panel.
Right.
It is going to be the one which is from everyone's perspective.
Understood. So now that you've mentioned theater, how does this exactly play? How does your extensive experience in theater come into play when you are becoming a good marketer, a good negotiator, a good storyteller? How does it exactly fit into it?
Now it seems like an MBA interview. I won't deny this question was asked to me in my MBA interview, that how is it going to help. In fact, two of the things that I written in my CV, that I'm also a cosmology enthusiast.
Okay.
That how is that going to help you in MBA? But I get it why people ask this question. because these are two very, very different fields.
Right.
But 90% of, and I say it very proudly, that 90% of what you see inside me today is because of theater. It has built not just a person but a personality that you see in front of yourself. And I feel I could not have had the journey in corporate also if I did not have the hand of theater with me. When I started it, of course, it's been almost like 10 years now since I have been doing theater. I've been actively doing it when my undergrad, passively in my postgrad, then tried it. Recently, I also formed my own theater group with one of my co-founders, Vaibhav Chauhan. He's also done an MBA. We share the same perspective. I think a person who has done theater has the ability to present themselves in multiple situations, because that's what stage also requires you. Once you enter the stage, you are a different character and you have to maintain that character for a long, long time. So similarly, when we go into these different roles, and especially the one that I've ended up in, that I'm one doing right now, probably we'll discuss about it in some time. That is the role that requires me to play the role of an HR also, an operations guy, a marketing guy, the one who understands people, sometimes a therapist also for my staff, because there are like 200, 250 people that I handle in Delhi. So it requires extensive knowledge of people understanding. So theater has not just taught me acting, but it has taught me people management and how to lead from the front.
So let's talk about your current role, a role which extensively requires a lot of people management, the
ABM.
area business manager of Tanishq.
Yeah.
Talk about that role. What are the skills required? How exactly that experience is helping you? What exactly do you need to do? Because a lot of our MBA students will be stepping into the role of an area business manager as well.
So not to flatter what I've gotten and not to flatter all the ABMs watching this, but I will tell you that if I wanted to start my corporate career with any role, it wouldn't have been anything else but the ABM role that I've gotten. And in fact, all now some of the people might kill me after watching it. Area sales manager is also a very great and good role to start with, but of course their life is much more challenging than what I am facing in as an ABM role, because the roles are slightly different. So let's not confuse them, because an area sales manager or a territory manager is the one who needs to deal with a lot of distributors, and their targets are based on how much the distributor plays that demand. Whereas an area business manager, I'll tell you what the role looks like. I am given some particular number of stores of Tanishq in a particular territory, which is Delhi right now, that I'm supposed to handle. And those stores, entire end to end, let it be the merchandise inside the store, be it the marketing inside the store, be it operations, be it what challenges, people challenges, team building, anything that comes via me. And in fact, all the BTL and ATL that happens in the North region, at least, that is what we take care of as a team also. There are around 5 to 6 area business managers in the North region in Delhi N1, where we take care of these stores divided. And the current portfolio that I take care of is 1,550 crores. It's the largest territory in the country right now as an ABM that I'm handling. Lucky there. But when I was interviewing for the role, there were multiple ABM roles that opened. One opened in Hyderabad, one opened in Bangalore, one opened in Delhi. So I interviewed for them all because I wanted to start my career with it. When I went ahead with the interview for the Bangalore one happened first, and I was happy with it. Like, good enough. I'll start my journey with Bangalore, but Kannada gothilla. So and I ended up giving the Delhi interview as well. Fortunately, I cleared it, and that's when I decided to go for the Delhi role. Now, this particular area business manager, the day looks something like this. On Mondays, all of my team goes to the office. On the other days, we have autonomy to decide which stores we want to visit. And even if we want to visit the competition stores, we want to understand what the market looks like. We want to have review of the people and understand how can their lives be made better, how can the numbers of the store be made better, because targets, of course, at the end of the day, when my manager is sitting in front of me, Prashant, kitna number kiye, the appraisal is going to happen on that. So I have to take care of the appraisals. If a person leaves my team, how to fill that gap, what are the marketing activities that are happening. If a store is declining, for example, any particular Spanish store, it's not doing well, what can the activities be that we can undertake or do to make that store come up. These are the kind of things. And you might be thinking, just to give you a perspective in terms of number, how much a Tanishq store does. So the highest number that a Tanishq store does is the Southex store in Delhi, which does around 1,000 crores in a year. So that is the number we are looking at. And with respect to other businesses, for example, we run Titan I Plus also. So Titan I Plus as an entire business all over India does 700 something crores. So a single standalone store is doing more than that. But don't get misguided by it, because it's not that we need to just open one more store there and shut down the entire business of I Plus. That is not how it goes. But just giving you numbers, perspective, and how it goes.
So you're basically like a CEO of the stores under you, but you have.
I'm flattered by that line. Flattered by that line, but yeah, that's somewhat true.
Somewhat true. Okay. So since you mentioned area sales manager, How exactly is the retail sales different from your typical FMCG sales?
I think that's a very good question, because once we are passing out of MBA, even I didn't know how an area sales manager also functions, not just an area business manager or retail
Right.
manager. Here, the role is not to go to those typical stores which are not our own, maybe the kirana store or the modern retail, modern
Right.
trade or things like those, and try to sell your product. For example, if I'm a Pepsi or a
Right.
Coca-Cola, I need to sell my product through those retail stores. I don't have my standalone stores myself. But here I have my own Tanishq stores.
Right.
So I have good enough power to do and execute things inside it. So in some terms, it is an easier role in terms of operationally executing things. But the challenge comes in terms of the big numbers that we have, because the retail part of it, where area sales manager need to just put this stuff there and they need to convince the retailer to buy things, we need to make sure that the final consumer also buys it as much as maybe in an L3 level store, where we are telling, because we have three formats. We have a company store, we have franchisee store, we have a completely franchisee store where they need to purchase the stuff from us and then sell it further on. Especially when talking about jewelry, the one that I'm handling right now. We need to make sure that the final consumer is buying that jewelry enough that we can replenish it in a store. We have something called a stock turn.
Right.
That if a store is handling, let's say, 100 crores of material inside it, then in a year it needs to sell at least 300 crores. That's called a stock turn of 3.
Right.
That much. So that also comes under our purview. So that becomes the challenging part. And people management. In typical sales roles, you do have to manage a lot of people, but sometimes there are going to be third party people as well, who are going to go to these retail stores and sell your stuff there.
Your end customers are actually different than your.
Exactly. Here, the end customer is the retailer, the retail shop owner that needs to keep your
Right.
product. But now, when I'm going to a store, I see my direct customer, which is going to purchase this jewelry, wear it in a cocktail ceremony or in their wedding or things like those. So I understand those
Right.
customers.
So when it especially comes with dealing with the end customer, the customer experience part of the store is extremely important. So could you expand a little bit more on that? What are the things when it comes to customer experience? What are the things that are included in customer experience, and how exactly is Tanishq?
The customer experience in itself is a very, very broad term.
Right.
I won't deny, because it doesn't start from the customer entering inside the store. It starts way back.
Right.
When we are trying to reach out to the customer for the first time. We also have things like omni-channel presence now, where what we do is we are trying to get people who are searching for our brands on a particular app or a website to the store. Their data comes to us. We try to make them calls. Even that first call being made is where the customer experience comes. Even them visiting the website, customer experience comes. What are the kind of ads we are showing? That's also customer experience. But yes, the typical customer experience which we talk about, when the customer actually enters the store, where it's greeted by a person, it's handed over to a RSO, we call retail sales officers, the ones who show you jewelry, to them. So retail is pretty much about that person getting an end-to-end experience from the time they enter the store to the time they exit after the billing. That entire process needs to be smoothened out, and I think Tanishq has mastered the art of customer experience, because we collect all sort of data points to understand if the customers are feeling good, because we have the RSO who deals, their NPS score is kept. Store managers' NPS scores are kept. The entire store, the Google reviews, each and every data point that we can collect to understand what the customers are, what the problems that the customers are facing. I think everybody who's in the retail space needs to do it and needs to master the art of customer glory, customer experience, customer delight. Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned that most of the customer experience begins when you enter the store, and a lot of it also starts before it. I want to ask you, when it comes to online sales, how jewelry as a category, if you look at it, how prominent or how exactly does the online sales work? Because obviously it's a very trust heavy market, and do people still prefer to buy online jewelry?
See, for jewelry as a category, online sales, although in terms of number, it's going to look like it's accounting for a very, very good number, but as a proportion, it's going to be less, because in jewelry, people want that touch and feel factor. You can't just buy a piece of jewelry because it's expensive also. For us also, it costs a lot, if in terms of not just delivering the product, but if the product comes back to us, we have to go through an entire process to understand it's the same product, because jewelry, lot of scope of getting scammed and lot of scope of people trying to scam us, and those have happened in the past. So online jewelry retail comes with its own challenges, and the bulk is pretty less. Although brands like CaratLane, which we have acquired now, and we have 4 brands in jewelry, which is Tanishq, we have Mia, we have CaratLane, we have Zoya. These are all operating in different kind of spaces. For example, Mia and CaratLane, they are operating in lightweight, jewelry, daily wear jewelry,
Right.
maybe in the
Everyday.
age group of 25 to 45, we are trying to target. In Tanishq, it's a little bit of heavy jewelry. We have the same products as Mia and Caratian also, but more of the wedding jewelry, more of maybe the jewelry in expansive in terms of when you're talking about different categories. And in Zoya, we have ultra premium categories where the designs are too exclusive, which we are giving competition to brands like Tiffany's and all. But yeah, the touch and feel factor comes. That's why Caratian, which a brand started online, also had to build this brick and mortar store to have the expansion. But at the same time, Tanishq also realizes that we need to go back to the online model also to milk the entire cow. We can't just depend on one particular channel. Even if a business of 100 crores is coming from online channel, which might sound like a huge number for jewelry, it might be less number. But as a proportion for that, for us to milk that number also is important.
Understood.
Yeah.
So you mentioned when it comes to KPIs, NPS, Net Promoter Score, is one of the most important factors. What are some other KPIs specific target when it comes to the retail industry?
So we call them, a good question first of all, we call them consumer matrices.
Right.
These ones. One is sales matrix, for example, how much of total sales I'm doing. In that, how much of studded sales is happening. Studded is a category, is very important for us. In that, so basically these are business metrics.
Right.
When it comes to consumer metrics, then things like a customer coming inside the store, so the walk-ins, how many walk-ins are happening in a particular day. Let's take an example of a particular store. I'm talking about the CP store in Delhi.
Right.
Let's say 100 customers are coming inside the store every day, so the walk-in becomes 100. Right. Now, out of those 100, how many people are buying? We are proud to say, by the way, that we have a conversion rate of about 88% in all over India. So if 100 customers are coming inside the store, 88% are buying.
Right.
That becomes a conversion rate, which is again an important parameter.
Right.
In this conversion rate, what is the average number of units per bill? Which become, let's say, in every bill, on an average, 2.5 products are going. So that is also a matrix for us. NPS again is a consumer matrix, consumer experience matrix. How many people are giving us that rating also, opening that message and trying to. Right. Then the person getting the bill done. In how much time is that bill getting done? 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. An average billing time, that becomes a matrix. So there are very, very expansive, like 20, 30 metrics like these. But I can keep deep diving into one or the other, one or the other. But these are the major ones which I just told you that we try to have a look at.
And ordinarily in retail, revenue per square feet is an important metric.
It is.
For Tanishq especially, is this metrics an important matrix, or
it is very important. Not just because we are operating in jewelry space, but also the fact that the kind of shops that we open. I think you only were telling me before we started the podcast that you visited one of the Andheri stores in Mumbai, and that in itself is such a glamorous store.
Absolutely.
To pay just the rent of it, it bleeds any brand, not just Tanishq. It's going to bleed any brand. So we try to maintain that, and we do have that matrix while we are making the ROI sheet of a store. And MBA, when I used to study that I have to make an ROI sheet, I used to think they are just kidding about it and somebody else will do it. But now that I've entered here and I'm the one who's supposed to make it, becomes a troublesome task, because you need to look at each and every parameter in how many years the store is going to become profitable, the IRR, payback period. Those things actually come into picture when we realize that yes, finance पे ध्यान देना चाहिए था.
First year में.
So those things actually become now a matrix that we need to understand. The square feet area that you spoke about, we need to take it into account, because we can't open a store which is maybe, I don't know, 26,000 square feet and then doing a business of only 100 crores. In terms of numbers, in terms of Tanishq, it's going to be a small number. We need to maximize this ratio that you're talking about.
Understood. Okay, now let's come to a very fun segment of our podcast, the rapid fire round. I'll be asking you questions, and a very short answer is what is expected. One marketing campaign you wish you had worked on.
Oh, marketing campaigns. I like Fevicol's marketing campaigns a lot. So the ones where they took out all those funny ads, I would have loved to be a part of it.
One brand you think has absolutely nailed the storytelling right now.
Nailed the storytelling ability. I think a lot of brands, but Rose Royals is one that has nailed the art of storytelling without even doing a lot of marketing.
Okay. If you had to name your marketing style in just one word, what would it be?
Flabbergast. I think no. I would go for funny. Funny is what I like.
Funny. Okay. One play or movie that changed the way you think.
A movie.
A play or a movie.
A play or a movie that changed the way I think. Yeah. I think it's Mamma Mia. I watched Mamma Mia in Neeta Mukesh Ambani Auditorium. It had come to India. The London team had come to perform, and it was such a brilliant play that changed my perspective in so many ways. That how can audience be entertained in left, right, center, creating beautiful scenes on the stage, and how I'll start talking about theater, please. stop me. I think that has changed a lot of things for me.
One thing theatre taught you what business schools could not.
One thing that theatre taught me, how to read people. Business school is going to tell you a lot of metrics, a lot of things, a lot of presentation skills, communication skills, but how to actually sit with people and read a room and understand how each and every person feels, comfortable, jolly, funny, depressed, any kind of emotion that they're feeling, you get the art of understanding it and become empathetic towards it.
A skill MBA students underestimate in the marketing.
Communication skills. I think marketing, yes, at the end of the day, is going to be about the kind of ideas you're bringing on the table, how impressive they look, how beautiful the campaign is going to come out. But if you can't communicate that campaign to a set of people who are actually going to execute it and become the right stakeholder, and the messaging is right, so that each and everybody was on the same page, you can't accomplish the task that you started with. So do not underestimate the power of good communication skills, and also do not underestimate the power of a good gas.
Okay, that brings us to a segment which is, do you have any favorite memories at NMIMS? You are a part of NGEM as well. How did MBA really help you become the professional that you are today? All of those.
Okay. So as my MBA was going on, I think memories, if I start counting, your podcast is going to become like 60 hours long. So I will try to just narrow it down. I think being a part of NGM was great for me during my first year, when I was maybe making so many new friends, because they say after a particular age you can't make new friends. But I think I attended weddings of 3 of them this very month when I was coming. So I think great friendships I made. I met some great faculties which changed my perspective about life, and I still thank a lot of them. I learned capstone. I think all the finals that I ever learned, I learned from capstone. That was amazing. And also in your college, in the second floor, out of all the tiles that they are there, the tiles that are there on the floor, there is one tile out of the tiles which are made of these triangles. That one triangle, the brown one, is upside down, and all the other ones are in the same pattern. So you go look for it. The ones who can find it, that's a memory, because I used to meet my friends there. Yeah, I think it's on the library floor. Yeah, all the tiles are same, but one tile is upside down.
Now,
so that's a great memory.
You need to go and find that one tile.
Yeah.
On a concluding note, would you like to give our MBA students any sort of advice about someone who wants to make a career like yours?
Yes. One is a business advice and one is a non-business advice. The non-business advice is, please be present at every single place that you can be. Some students, I find that they become very proud of the fact that, oh, I have to only go to the college twice a week. Some people become very proud of the fact that I have to go only once a week or something. This is the last education you probably ever pursue. Even if your calendar is saying that you have to go to the college only twice a week, please go every single day. Just sit there, have fun with your friends, because you're not going to find this time later on in life. Be present at everything that's happening. Even if you have to go to a party, sit silently because you're socially awkward. Just sit in a corner. Just be present there. It's going to teach you more than anything ever can. No more than books can. And second, the business advice. When you are entering into the business world, it becomes very important for you to unlearn the things. I know it sounds like a gas advice. To unlearn the things that you've done in your undergrad and postgrad, because at the same time, like you learn the things in maths which you're not using now, there are going to be a lot of things that are not practical to be used in a daily life situation. So I think those are the kind of things you need to keep at the background and learn again from the kind of industry, people, team, managers you're working with, what is their style and what do they want you to do, rather what you have actually just learned in books. Become practical for business. Don't just be applying the strategies which you read somewhere, because the world is evolving. Yesterday, you learned the things, you remember them, that's why you were successful. Today, ChatGPT is doing that for you. So learn good prompting rather than memorizing things. So those are the kind of things you need to keep evolving with. And yes, don't stop having fun. That is very important.
Being in the last trimester myself, I resonated with most of the things you said.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prashant, for spending so much time with us, for taking out your precious time here with us.
It was a pleasure.
It was absolutely a pleasure to host you.
Yes. I'll be seeing the viewers. Goodbye. Take care.
Thank you.